Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. It is July the 16th, 2019. It is about 9:50 p.m. Central Time. Got some very important news tonight. Some of you may have heard about it already, but I have something to add because I have made an appointment with Dr. Hoffer, but I want to wait. I want to wait for some more people to get into chat. So I'm going to play a Lindsey Sterling song. I'll probably just play like half of it because it's like a 4-minute song. If you are in chat, welcome. My nervous system is just burnt out. I feel like my brain, like neuronally, does not work. Like I'm getting hit very hard. That's why the news that I'm bringing to you guys is so important. So let me play this song while some people come in chat, and welcome if you're coming in chat. I'm going to open the chat so I can talk to you guys. I'm going to try and keep it quick tonight because I'm just like just doing really bad. But I'm going to play this music. I'm going to open my chat room on my tablet, and I got some just very important, very hopeful news on two fronts. And then I have like a third thing I kind of want to talk about, which is a little bit important. I might not get to, I might do another video, but some really good news, guys. Really good news. So everybody should stick around for this. So I'm just going to play this real quick while I open up my chat room and welcome anybody coming in. I hope y'all are doing relatively well. Oh, God, just staying strong and finding things to ease the pain, things to find hope in. This will give people a lot of hope. So hey, Future Knowledge. Hey, Drunk Ninja. Hey, PA. I got some good news, Future Knowledge. Hey, Nobody. How you doing, man? I got some really good news. And I'm hoping it will be a trend. Like, I'm hoping he will not be the only doctor who takes on TI patients. Some of you may have seen it on the conference call. I might just get started. And people can kind of just come in and watch the beginning. Watch the beginning if they missed it. Okay, so huge, hopeful, important news. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the music. I love it, man. Violin, like today, I felt like I just feel like my nervous system is all ripped up. I was laying down without my grounding. It makes a huge difference. Like my attackers were just pulsing like pain down my spine, and then my head just felt like my brain was fuzzy and a headache, and then the ringing sound all at once. And I was just like laying there, just laying in bed, like just horrible pain. But then I got up and I turned on like some Lindsey Sterling, some violin music, and like I got like this, my nervous system kind of like woke up. It was kind of like giving me goosebumps. So like music is very important. It can change the frequency of your brain and it can make you feel a lot better. That's not the news though. So I was watching, and this is weird because you guys know that I found that Donovan Radical Speaker Series, or somebody sent that to me, and thank you, Ashley, for sending that to me. And I've been going through some of those presentations. Now, I didn't show the first presentation. The first presentation given was from Dr. Hoffer. So when the person sent me that speaker series, I watched the whole thing. And I didn't really recognize the doctor at the beginning, but he was the doctor. His name is Dr. Michael Hoffer, and he was the guy who did initial testing on the Cuban embassy workers. When they came over from Cuba, they came to Miami, and he did initial testing on them before they went to University of Pennsylvania. But it's really interesting because I watched that speaker series, and then like 2 nights later, Ella did a call, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it, and a targeted individual gets on the conference call and talks about how she went to see Dr. Hoffer. Now, I didn't connect the two. I didn't know that was Dr. Hoffer on the Radical Speaker Series. I'll show you, but I'll show some of his presentation and then play some of the call. But he is actually like on the conference call. She was saying she went to see him. He has this, what I want to do first, because I know why a lot of people are here, I put the title Solution for V2k. Now, I haven't tried this yet, but scientifically, it seems really sound. But anyway, she went to see Dr. Hoffer at the University of Miami Health System, and he talked to her about like all this stuff. And I'll play some of the conference call for you guys. But he said that a good solution for voice to skull is a noise canceling hearing aid, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And I'm going to try it before I go to my appointment with Dr. Hoffer, which is actually October 9th. I had to set an appointment with Dr. Hoffer in Miami for October 9th, and then I have to get my mom's help to get there because I have no resources, right? But it makes a lot of sense. So I wanted to say that at the beginning. I wanted to say, I'm going to try this right away, getting a noise canceling hearing aid, because if you've got microwave hearing, so you're getting hit with a microwave frequency that's then modulated into a something that goes to the inner ear that you hear, or if your attackers are shooting straight into the ear, even if you have an ear implant, which I don't know how many targeted individuals have an ear implant, because they can do a lot of things without having an implant right on the inner ear, the cochlear, or whatever you call the inner ear. It makes a lot of sense though, because a sound and this is why, like, oh gosh, my attackers they're nailing my short-term memory. A noise canceling hearing aid sends out a canceling frequency so that your outer ear and your inner ear cannot hear sound. So I'm going to try this before I go to see him, but I did. This is great, guys. I called today. I was like, I didn't know if I should make a video about it, but she, the lady who went to see her, and a lot of targeted individuals have gone to see Dr. Hoffer. I called to make an appointment. I just didn't know if you do ask for an appointment, if you do try and get an appointment with Dr. Hoffer, try and be as courteous as you can, just so he'll keep taking TI patients. But I called in and I was like, yeah, I'd like to make an appointment with Dr. Michael Hoffer. And then the lady, the person just making the appointments was like, okay, why do you need to see Dr. Hoffer? And I started out saying, well, I have neurological issues, I have facial pain, I have ringing in the ears. And then I was just like, okay, well, screw it. The Cuban embassy workers, I was experiencing symptoms like that way before that incident happened. And she was like, oh, microwave torture, you're a targeted individual. So just the person taking appointments knew. She was like, oh, you're a targeted individual. Oh yeah, we do appointments with targeted individuals. So this is great news. Dr. Hoffer is actually, is taking appointments for targeted individuals. So you can call his office in Miami, and I'll show you all some information, and just say, I'm a targeted individual. I'm being hit with microwaves. And you just have to, it's going to probably be a long time. It's hard to get there, I know, if you don't live in Florida. Even if you do live in Florida, even if you live on the Panhandle part, because my parents live like right on the Panhandle part in Pensacola. So I'm gonna have to like fly there, I think, from New Orleans. I don't know how we're gonna do it yet, but I have till October 9th. So what I want to do, ooh, I'm just it's really bad. This is like really bad. But it's hopeful. Now this is a very hopeful thing. I'll probably break down crying when Dr. Hoffer walks in the room, because he's a neurologist and he's very specific. Like, he's looked at the Cuban embassy workers. He's had appointments. He's had targeted individuals as patients for a long time. I don't know how I'm just hearing this. I guess, and this was kind of my thing. I didn't know if it would be okay if I just told everybody, but he's taking targeted individuals on his patients. This other lady that went to see him said it on the conference call, so everybody's getting the information out. Ella said to make sure, I'll show you guys. Let's go. Let's play the conference call. First, I'm going to share my screen. And hello, everybody coming in the chat room. Hey, Next. I just watched your live stream today. What's going on, guys? Hey, John Marie. How are you guys doing? Okay, but so initial thing. Hey, Kizzy Cricket. How you doing? I hope everybody's doing good. I hope y'all are finding some peace, finding some relaxation. Hopefully. I was dying today. I didn't put my grounding on and I went to sleep, and it's like the whole lower part of my body. My attackers are using remote neural manipulation to heat up my midsection. So it was like all hot, and I was like squirming around constantly. But this is a lot of hope. So I want to repeat what people may be here for. The solution to V2k, noise canceling hearing aid. Now, probably you won't be able to hear anything, but I'm thinking, because I have 24-hour-a-day V2k, that like I wouldn't wear it all day, so I could maybe hear if I'm playing video games or doing something, I need to hear music, I need to hear videos, I wouldn't wear them. But like when you go to sleep, you can wear these noise canceling hearing aids, and it's going to send out a canceling frequency to the outer and inner ear. And I'm going to talk to, when I go on October 9th, it's a long time from now, I'm going to talk to Dr. Hoffer about other solutions and see, this is going to be the big thing. The big thing is going to be if he can direct me to a doctor who can do imaging for non-consensual implants, because I don't know. I didn't know. Okay, this is another thing I was going to talk about tonight. I'm going to wait a little while, but I did not know that and I'm forgetting words. My attackers are just beating up my brain so badly. Your sinuses. Your sinuses are actually a pathway to the brain. And I never knew that. So I experience all this pain on my left side, my shoulder, my jaw, and then I'll feel a lot of pain in my cheek right here where my sinuses is, but I never, where my sinuses are, where my sinuses is, got my sinus. But I never thought that the sinuses were a pathway to the brain. So I never thought that the sinus cavity would be a place where they would maybe put non-consensual implants. So I need to get that place checked too. So a big thing of this, seeing Dr. Hoffer, is can he point me to another doctor, that can image for the implants and then get them out. And since Dr. Hoffer is taking TI patients, is this a trend? I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking that a system is building, right? A system is building where people are going to try and help us, doctors and stuff like that, to actually fight against this. So we might be seeing a new system being built where doctors are actually going to help us, and they won't be chased off. Their licenses won't be revoked. It might be that time, because a lot of doctors that have tried to help us, they lose their license, they're threatened, they're run out of their jobs. It seems like Dr. Hoffer has some clout, and he's doing this anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's really good news. So let me show y'all who he is. And hey, Tanya, how are you doing? How are you guys doing? I just hope y'all are doing all right. And hey, S. Robles. And S. Robles, you have, I know that you have V2k really bad like me. noise canceling hearing aids, because it would send out a frequency to the outer and the inner ear. So even if it's microwave hearing from the brain to the inner ear, or if it's coming from the outside, even if it was a cochlear implant doing this, the noise canceling hearing aid is going to send out a frequency to make sure that the inner and outer ear don't hear noise, don't get any of that noise. I don't know. It might, this might be a little bit more complicated than that, but Dr. Hoffer understands V2K. Just as y'all are gonna hear, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all who he is, and let me play part of Ella's call where a targeted individual named Jax talks about her appointment with Dr. Hoffer. He is an advocate for us. He's the doctor who initially tested the Cuban embassy workers. He knows about targeted individuals. Like, he knows that people are being experimented on all over the world. And when I called my neurologist in Baton Rouge, I had to say, to get an appointment, I had to say, well, I have neurological issues. I have headaches and stuff like that. And I have my spine, like my back hurts and my side hurts. And I couldn't really say, hey, I'm a targeted individual, because they didn't understand. But when I called Dr. Hoffer's office, this was just a lady taking the appointments. And I said, yeah, and it's like the Cuban embassy. Like, I was experiencing those things a long time before. And she's like, oh, you're a targeted individual. The microwave torture. She said that. She said, oh, you're a targeted individual, the microwave torture. Yeah, Dr. Hoffman's seeing targeted individuals. So, I mean, that's like an amazing thing to me. But let me share my screen, guys. I don't want to make this too long. I'm really, like, my brain is really doing bad. It feels like the neuron connections are not working right. They're doing so much stuff to my brain. I don't know. So this is Dr. Hoffer right here. He's the first guy. He's the first guy to do a presentation in this SoftWorks J5 Donovan group. So let's just play a couple of, like, his introduction to who he is.
Data by group of the 25 effective works, SOCOM and the group for inviting us to speak. This is a very important topic, and we're honored to be here and present today. So thank you very much. So these are the author affiliations for the group. This is the views of the authors.
Wait. Let me go back real quick, because it shows I didn't even know this term, but an I can't even really pronounce it. Otolaryngologist. Let me try and read this. But it's okay. Dr. Michael Hoffer, University of Miami.
So first of all, I'd like to thank the Donovan Group, SoftWorks, SOCOM, and the group for inviting us to speak. This is a very important topic, and we're honored to be here and present today. So thank you very much. So
okay, so University of Miami, Miller School of Medicine, Department of Otolaryngology. And I guess that's like ear, eye, nose, and throat, pretty much, how the ear connects to the brain. Like, basically a neurologist, but also a neurologist who specializes in the connections to the brain. And that's going to be crucial for us. It's going to be crucial for us to get a doctor who understands how the ears and the eyes and the sinus cavities and everything like that connects to the brain, because our attackers are using those pathways to the brain to torture us, to do this experimentation. So this is some of the departments that that contributed to these presentations. But this is like what Dr. Hoffer is, basically an otolaryngologist.
These are the author affiliations for the group.
Really a neurologist.
The authors, not the views of the government, not the views of the Navy, not the views of my university. So in February of 2017, I literally got this call. This is the State Department. We have a problem.
So the State Department called him. The State Department called Dr. Hoffer when they had this incident in Cuba, right? That's kind of interesting to me and very weird. It's very weird because does the State Department know about us being experimented on? Is this so compartmentalized within the military-industrial complex that maybe some bigger agencies in America do not know about this torture? because it seems like they would have maybe kept their mouth shut and not gotten Dr. Hoffer to look at these people if they did know. I'm not sure about that. It's just very interesting how the State Department did call on him to check the Cuban embassy workers. And there was a lot more than 24. I think we all know that, right? There was hundreds of people in Cuba were presenting these problems. But they took the 24 main embassy workers, and I think there was testing on some of the other ones, but those tests have not been released. But there's like hundreds of people in Cuba who were experiencing the ring in the ears, the headaches, and everything like that.
So what happened was individuals began experiencing symptoms late in 2016 of ear pain, tinnitus, dizziness, and cognitive issues. The profiles were all experienced a loud noise or pressure phenomenon.
Yeah, so Tanya Bowers said, will they work? Will they work? So I don't know yet. Like, I haven't tried the noise canceling hearing aids. That's my priority, right? Because I got till October 9th. I've scheduled my appointment on October 9th with Dr. Hoffer, and I'm going to ask him a lot of questions. My mom's coming with me, and I'm going to write down stuff. She's going to back up when I told her everything happened, because my mom does believe me now. I do want to throw in real quick, guys, how I got my mom to listen to me and my family to listen to me was that I focused on the activism, and I focused on the conference calls, and I focused on the videos. I focused on the solutions that we're trying, our activism and us trying to stop this program, the positive things, so that they would understand it. Because when I would just tell my parents about the torture and everything like that, they couldn't digest it. They couldn't do anything about it. It made them feel helpless, and they didn't want to hear about it. So I do want to say, if you're having a hard time with your family, it's a good idea to focus on, like, oh, there's TI Day is coming up August 29th, and there's going to be rallies all over the world. Or there's so many people speaking out on YouTube about this. Focus on this positive stuff to get them on your side, because when people are presented with something where they don't have a solution for it and they feel helpless, they don't want to talk about it, right? It's unfair to us. It's injustice to us because we're just being tortured and we didn't do anything, but it's the way people work, so I just do want to suggest that if you're really trying to, get your family to listen to you, just focus on the positive stuff. Yeah, so that's going to be a priority for me, is I think that you can get some cheap noise canceling hearing aids, not headphones, noise canceling hearing aids at the pharmacy. But I want to try and get the most powerful ones I can get. And I'm not going to wait till I see Dr. Hoffer, definitely. Yeah, so let's just play it for a little while longer. Just want you all to kind of see who he is.
Before and during the symptoms. All were members or family members of individuals stationed with the U.S. diplomatic mission in Havana, Cuba, and the sound was localized and followed the individuals. In fact, if they opened the door to the outside, the sound immediately went off. So 35 individuals who were symptomatic or at risk were evaluated at our facility at the University of Miami. 25 who were exposed and had symptoms, and 10 who were not exposed but lived with the individuals who were exposed.
And nobody says, next level, what do you think of this idea? I was texting with Kyle that I find the V2k does not work when I use headphones or keep music playing on my phone. So background music is noise canceling for the V2k. Yeah, I mean, and that works for me too, especially like if I, just listen to pleasing music. It makes the V2k a lot. It buffers down the V2k. But that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I just find with music, if I have music on, it doesn't completely make the V2k disappear. Like in what I think with the main thing, right, for all of us, we've got these things that work a certain percentage, right? Like pleasing music, it's like 50, buffers down the V2k like 60% or something like that. But we're looking for things where we can get 100% relief from certain protocols. which I think that these noise canceling hearing aids might give a 100%. I don't know, but I'm going to be trying it. And then hopefully, like, because I think if I write stuff down and I can be concise enough and I talk to Dr. Hoffer, I can maybe get some other solutions, because he understands that it's microwaves, that it's electromagnetic pulses going through the pathways to the brain. He's starting to understand this more and more. I didn't know this, but many targeted individuals have already gone to see him and are getting help from him, and he's advocating for them. So, you know, it would be great if he can do tests to make sure that we are not mentally ill, right? Because we're not mentally ill. And then maybe he can actually have, you know, have some written documents, write out some documents for us to have with us stating that we are being hit with this stuff. So I think it's just a very, very hopeful thing. But he is in Miami, so it's going to take some work. Like, I actually, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying I definitely am not going to the Oregon rally, but my mom and me were talking, and I do have to get help from her because I have no resources. And it wasn't like she was like, pick one or the other. It wasn't like that, but it was pretty much like that. It was like, you got to pick which one you want to do. And the rally is super important, but I've got to look at this, and we've all got to look at this as targeted individuals and say, what's the best path for me to take, which will help me and my family and other targeted individuals the most. So, you know, I'm going to try and support the rally. I may be able to get there. It's not looking good, but I don't know, you know. So I had to make a very hard decision to kind of do one or the other. Yeah. So nobody says next level. Dave Case's CD, I think Kyle recommends. Yeah, Dave Case's CD, that's a priority. That'd be the #1 thing I recommend, especially for the remote neural manipulation, because it'll cut your attackers off a little bit. It'll interfere with what they're doing. Yeah, and and Tanya, you said, I can't wait for you to see him, Kyle. And Tanya, I'm gonna let y'all know after the appointment. It is a while off, but the reason I want to tell y'all right away is in case any of y'all are able to go see him. Because if you make an appointment now, it might be a couple of months from now. So I just wanted to let y'all know. And it seems like he is just taking targeted individual patients, and there's not a limit on it. Whoever can get there and see him, right? I have Medicare, so the lady who was making the appointment was saying that it might not be covered by Medicare. I don't know about that. I'm hoping that it will be covered by my insurance. She says usually it is, but there might be a chance that it might not be. So Healthy Living and Other Things says, have you guys ever watched Kay Griggs? She was a TI and wife to a major or something like that from the military. I have a playlist of her. Yeah, I've seen those. And guys, check out Kay Griggs, because it gives you an insight into these guys in the military and how really satanic they get. You know, the really evil, you know, in military, and probably in these contractors. The more evil they are, the more moralists, like without morals they are, they move up in the ranks, you know. So that's a really, really important interview to see. So DJ Duncan says, I will travel with you to the TI Valley in Portland. I'm in North Carolina. Yeah, I just don't know how to get there, DJ Duncan. Were you talking to somebody else in chat maybe? My car can't go far distances. And if I'm doing this, like, my mom's going to have to help me to get to Miami. So I'm not sure. I don't think I wanted, you know, I thought about maybe doing like a GoFundMe or something to get me to Oregon. But what I'd rather people do, I think, is donate directly to those rallies. If you want to donate, you know, go ahead and donate to whatever rally's nearest you. I thought about it, but I think I'm going to try and get there some other way. If I can't, I'm just going to go see Dr. Hoffer, and then, you know, I'll run, you know, I'll promote the rallies and do whatever I can from my house. But I'm really going to try. If somebody from Louisiana does have a car and is driving up there, I would go with you. But let me, okay, so he's just talking about the Cuban embassy attack. I just wanted to show y'all who he is. And y'all can watch this. You can go and watch this first presentation. But he knows about us. Like, he definitely knows that people are being experimented on in the world. You know, targeted individuals, that we're getting hit with directed energy. We're getting hit with V2k. He understands these weapons are hitting people. Like, he does not think that we're crazy at all. He's connecting the Cuban embassy thing, and he's actually seen many targeted individual patients. So he is an advocate for us, which is super hopeful. Now that, see, I think what this does is there probably are some other doctors in the United States. I think probably you guys have like heard of some maybe. And I think there's going to be a growing industry to help us. Now it sucks. It's injustice that we have to pay for medical care when we're being tortured for doing nothing. But it's more hopeful than doctors not knowing what this is and not helping us at all, right? And let me go ahead. Let me go to Ella's show. I think she's actually, well, her call's probably over tonight. I was gonna do, like, I felt like I could do a live stream at about 8, but her call was on, and I think the Badger Report, he was doing a live stream, which I caught the end of it. So I was kind of waiting for other people to, you know, to do their conference calls and stuff like that. But you guys should know. You can go, check it out. Oh, I wish this wasn't covering up the number. Ella has a call every Tuesday and Thursday. It's 8 p.m. Central Time, so it's 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And I wish that I could see that. 515, if you guys want to take down the number for a conference call. You know, I'm gonna make a video where I just go through a list of all the conference calls and the numbers. I think I might do that later this week and just give y'all a list if y'all want to go to the conference calls. I can't read it because of all this mess. 515-606 51. Let's see, if I play this, will that disappear?
Hi, Ella.
5187. You guys can y'all see it on the bottom?
From California. Thank you for your show program.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, I just do what helped me when I first found the community, and I went on these calls and.
It's on the bottom there.
So, my pleasure.
I wanted to make an announcement. I did actually. I went to see Dr. Hoffer in Miami.
How'd that go?
Well, I arrived on June 30th, and I left on July 4th, and I was tested for 3 solid days with Dr. Hoffer. And I do want everyone to know that we have a.
Hey, can somebody in chat? Oh man, okay. Can somebody in chat write the ID number for the call too? Thank you, Carrier Cross Ministries, for putting the number in. Can y'all write whenever I click back on it, can somebody write the ID number also in chat?
Offer. And if any of you can go see him, we need the numbers. Numbers matter, just like the rallies, and they grow. We have a medical professional who does understand and knows exactly what's happening to us. And he
was he able to come up with any evidence? Was there anything he saw that indicated to him that that's what's going on with you?
Okay, so 400014 Carrier Cross. 400. I forgot it already. Wow. 014. 400 here. Let me see. 400014 is the ID number for her calls. And I'm going to do a video where I just go all the calls that I know about. I'll go through them and the times. I'm going to get all the calls and then just make a video going through them and putting them in the description, because I think the conference calls are really good. I haven't been to a lot of them lately. And Tanya, it's going to be October 9th that I go see him. Thank you, Carrier Cross. So listen. So let's. Okay, I'm going to start it over. Let's listen to this carefully because she talks about her appointment with him, and he knows about all this. So it's I think it was 53. Here we'll go back to here. Let's listen carefully.
My pleasure.
I wanted to make an announcement. I did actually. I went to see Dr. Hoffer in Miami.
Oh, you know what?
So,
hold on, guys. I'm going to put my headphones in because the sound gets really bad when I don't do that. This works a lot better. Oh no. Y'all can't hear it? You guys can't hear it? Oh no. It usually works when I do a video. Okay, we'll do it without the headphones. Well, that's no good. I thought y'all would be able to hear it from the computer because it worked the other day when I wasn't doing a live stream. Okay, well let's go back. The sound's it's gonna peak a little bit, but that's okay. Let's go back. We don't have to go back too far. We'll go back here. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks for letting me know.
Thank you for your show program.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, I just do what helped me when I first found the community, and I went on these calls and listened to people. So it's my pleasure.
I wanted to make an announcement. I did actually. I went to see Dr. Hoffer in Miami.
How'd that go?
Well, I arrived on June 30th, and I left on July 4th, and I was tested for 3 solid days with Dr. Hoffer. And I do want everyone to know that we have an advocate with Dr. Hoffer, and if any of you can go see him, we need the numbers. Numbers matter, just like the rallies, and they grow. We have a medical professional who does understand and knows exactly what's happening to us. And
was he able to come up with any evidence? Was there anything he saw that indicated to him that that's what's going on with you?
Oh yes, he is our advocate. When I first got radiated, microwaved, I don't know exactly when the person next door started doing it to me. But he made it known to me on April Fool's Day this year. But my cats were signaling me along before that because they wouldn't go in my bedroom. They wouldn't go in my office, which is right next to his house. And they ran. If I took them in there, they would squirm out of my arms. So, and I know something was wrong because I was hearing stuff in my head. He would play barking dogs, but you know, I don't want to go so much into the symptoms as much as I really want to just let you all know that going to see Dr. Michael Hoffer is needed. In fact, I don't think too many of us are going. And he diagnosed me. My doctor did tests in May when I had such terrible ear pain. It was horrible, like that lady was talking about earlier. And yeah, and my doctors did not do a hearing test. They gave me some.
Hey, let's see. Kizzy Cricket says, why is he an advocate? Do you think maybe someone in his family is a TI, or possibly he has experienced something strange? No, the thing is, Kizzy, he was the doctor when the Cuban embassy attacks happened. They came from Cuba to Miami, so he was the first doctor. The State Department contacted him, and he was the first doctor to run testing on those 24 State Department workers. I think he also ran testing on a lot more people coming from Cuba who are experiencing these symptoms. I'm not sure how many, and I don't think any of that testing was released, like the Cuban embassy workers. So he was the first doctor. The State Department actually asked him to do testing on them to see what was going on, you know, which is either a cover. You know, the State Department either does know about this experimentation to us, to everybody in every country, and was trying to run a cover like, oh, what is this? We don't know what it is. Or the State Department, literally the people who contacted him really did not know because it's so compartmentalized within the military-industrial complex and really did not know what was going on with this. It's kind of like, I think, this is what I really think, guys. I think that this experimentation and this torture is running parallel to DHS Fusion Center gang stalking, InfraGard gang stalking, community policing, and stuff like that. However, I think that the torture and the experimentation with you know, remote neural monitoring, remote neural manipulation, V2k, the integrated weapon systems, I think it's so compartmentalized that a lot of times there are governmental agencies, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. I think it's that bad. I think the secrets are that bad where you've got some government agencies that have no clue. And so the stuff happens like the Cuban embassy attack, and they really are looking at it like, oh, that's a national security risk. What's happening to those people? But then some of the people, you know, basically all the people in the Pentagon and in these contractors who do it, they know what's going on, right? So it's the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And it's just all this chaos. Like some people do know, some people don't know. And it's hard to tell who knows what. It's, you know, it's just, that's what happens when people start lying and murdering people. It's just, you know, chaos ensues. Some people don't know about it. Some people do know about it. I think Dr. Hoffer had no idea that this was going on in his country. Then he did testing on these Cuban embassy workers, did testing on some of the other people in Cuba who were experiencing these things, and then started to realize, I think targeted individuals started to contact him, and he started to realize that this was experimentation going on in every country, right? So I think there might be a whole lot of doctors who start knowing this, especially, check this out, especially if Dr. Hoffer and doctors like him start writing papers on this, start writing research papers and things like that based on our experimentation. If he starts writing papers on it, gives it out to doctors, then that means this stuff becomes very, very decompartmentalized, and everybody starts to understand the full picture that people are being tortured, that we're being tortured, that our families are being tortured, that non-consensual implantation is going on. Those doctors who do non-consensual implantation and might not know what it's being used for will then be decompartmentalized and realize that the non-consensual implantation is being used for microwave torture. You know, so it could have this effect if he starts speaking to the rest of the medical community and writing papers on it, it could have a huge hopeful impact for us, right? So that's what I'm hoping for. And I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him how many other doctors know. You know, are there other doctors helping targeted individuals? I'm going to try and get as much information. I don't know how long the appointment's going to be, but I'm going to try and get as much information out of it as possible. And I will let y'all know everything. I don't think I'm going to actually film like when I'm having the appointment with him, but I'll probably be doing some live streams like on the way and stuff like that. So let's listen to the rest of it. So nobody says, Kyle, that would be cool, man. Scientific papers on TI experimentation. Yeah, and it's weird because the actual building that I have to go to for the appointment is called the Clinical Research Building, which kind of at first, as a targeted individual, I got very suspicious. And I said, Clinical Research Building? Oh, so they're just doing more research on us, right? This doctor's just collecting data on it, and he's not really going to help. And I pushed that away. I was like, no. You know, he is probably going to be doing research on this. He's going to be doing case studies, and the good guys have to get information too. You know, I think we need to realize that as targeted individuals. I think anybody who's trying to collect any data, we automatically say, oh, well, they're collecting data, they're against us. But just like Kirk Weavy and Bill Binney did that. What's it called? I can't think of what it was, but the survey, they're good guys trying to find out about it. And the good guys fighting this have to get data on what the hell is going on so we can know how to beat it, right? Yeah, Eric EXE says, just like to help out the general public to be educated, right? Right, the good guys need information because the evil people doing this stuff have so much information on all of it. They're collecting so much data. So like good doctors who want to help us especially, they need data sets on what the hell is going on, how many people are being hit by this stuff, what are the protocols, right? If we get some doctors looking into this who are on our side and they're like, oh, well, a certain percentage are getting this total package protocol of V2k, remote neural manipulation, remote neural monitoring, you know, full nervous system, negative stimulation, and then this percentage is just getting V2k and gang stalking. You know, it could really help everybody, help the public, help doctors, and then he writes papers on it. Then you could, I mean, we can just grab those papers, those research papers, and you can go to other doctors and say, look, Dr. Hoffer has written these research papers on this. So it's a very hopeful thing, you know, very, very hopeful. Yeah, Zap World says, how do we know this doctor isn't compromised? You know, I don't know, Zap World. I'm going to go see him. We have to take some risks, you know, like we can't think that everybody in the world is in on it. I mean, we know that the whole world isn't in on it, right? Because we're good people. You know, we wouldn't torture people. We don't want this to be going on. We're fighting it as much as we can. So there has to be a lot of people like that in the world, right? If we exist, you know, everybody can't be in on it. Yeah, John Marie Bizot says, I bet he has a database. If he's seen many, he's a good doctor. He's keeping track of diagnosis. Yeah, and he also, he has the, I'll show you guys this video. He invented something, or he's promoting something called concussion goggles, so it can tell what's going on with somebody's brain if they do have some kind of brain injury. So he's very well versed in neurology, not only neurology, he's a neurologist, but also pathways to the brain, which is going to be super important for us, you know, because our attackers are hacking into our brain, and they're hacking into our brain and our nervous system.
Oil for my ear, and
Garlic
I had
oil.
No, it wasn't garlic oil. It was from the doctor. It was some other. It had I think it had a steroid in it.
Oh, it's for inflammation. Okay.
Yeah,
and at the store.
it cost. Yeah, it cost about $200 too.
Yeah, you can buy it at the store. It's just all it is, steroid cream. You could make your own for $5 or less.
Well, anyway, she asked me, how's your hearing? This doctor, and well, because of the V2k, I thought my ears were pretty good. Because they amplify a lot of stuff, and I really couldn't tell that I had lost any hearing. So anyway, I had heard about Dr. Hoffer through the author June T. of No Ordinary Stalking.
Oh, she's
and
wonderful.
I had, she is.
Oh,
And so she told me to go. She said, go to see this doctor. And because I know who's doing this to me, I had a lawyer, and I was considering litigation and getting the evidence, and I needed proof, medical.
That is also crucial, guys. That's crucial because I want to find a lawyer and I want to find a doctor to get these implants out. So it seems like going to Dr. Hoffer, a doctor that knows about this stuff, is kind of a beginning. It's a pathway into getting help. And also, if Dr. Hoffer can write a diagnosis like he wrote for Jax, he gave her a diagnosis of being targeted by these weapons, right? Can you imagine that you walk into a lawyer and you say, look, I've got this from an accredited doctor who did all the testing on the Cuban embassy workers, and he has given me this diagnosis of being hit with these weapons. Then that you got to know who's doing it to you. You got to try and figure that out, which that's going to be tough for me because, I think I know what contractor it is. I definitely don't know the individuals personally who are microwaving me. Some of you guys might know that information, but I feel like this would be a huge step in getting, getting proof. Getting proof, first of all, to get imaging done and then implants taken out if you do have implants, because I don't think all targeted individuals have classic non-consensual implantation, right? There's smart dust and nanotechnology and all that stuff. I do think that I do, and I think a lot of targeted individuals probably do have non-consensual implantation. But that's a huge step in actually having proof to either get a doctor to take these things out, or getting a lawyer, getting an actual lawyer, or getting your case ready to go if you're gonna hook up with Targeted Justice or Targeted America, right? That's another. I'll do another video on that because Ramola's been doing a lot of great interviews lately. And there's like 2 interviews that I want to just let y'all know about. I'm sure that probably everybody who watches my videos watches Ramola, but I do want to just point y'all in that direction. Targeted America did an interview with her, and they're doing a lot of hopeful work too. I don't know. I know Targeted Justice is still going. I think it might be good for different groups to be doing some different strategies. But yeah, so Ramola D has been doing a lot of great interviews with that, and she did an interview with a retired police chief, I think, who is going to try and he's going to try and do some GoFundMe's and stuff to get a website and then actually help targeted individuals. So guys, somebody wrote in chat a while back, talking about all these things, rallies and doctor reports and stuff, and they don't have much hope. I understand that. I'm not sure who did. It was up. I understand that. Like I've been tortured so long, and it seems like nothing works. But it is like this stuff is snowballing. Good people in our country and in every country are kind of waking up to this, and we will have some doctors that, since so many people are going to be helping us, it won't be like one doctor helping us and then they can get killed or their license taken away or something like that. With so many people stepping forward to fight this, they can't destroy them all, right? And hopefully it'll just be so many people, and the awareness will be so much that that they'll pull back on these programs. I feel like at a certain point, I actually think this, and I'm not 100% positive, but I think that the military industrial complex, the DoD, I think they're already, like, they had planned for this program to stop at a certain point anyway. So I think that they have plans in place for when it stops. And I'm not quite sure about that, but I've just got a feeling. I've got a feeling about that, and I'm kind of seeing some signs you know, in all these different countries that you know, we're getting somewhere, and that they're gonna eventually plan on, okay, we got to wrap this up. I'd like to get justice, you know, from my attackers, from the people murdering me and hurting my family. But priority number one is just getting this to stop. You know, that's like just number one priority. And then compensation and, you know, justice for our attackers. That's, you know, those are two other things. Probably justice from our attackers would be priority number two, and then compensation for all that we've lost, the time we've lost when we could have been working, and, you know, lose. I mean, because I'm not the same person, right? Neurotically, my brain does not work the same. Like, I have a different personality. Like, I don't feel like the same person because I've been messed up so bad from this torture. I mean, it's not, there are no words for how bad this is and how prolonged it is. So I understand where people are like, man, I don't have a lot of hope. You know, we haven't gotten anywhere in a long time. But if you think about it, and especially since I started making videos like, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, I think it was like 5 years ago, there was nobody talking about this. It's a completely different landscape. So a lot has been done. We have come a long way. Even though, you know, even though the torture is still very excruciating. So I understand that, but we gotta try and keep going, and there will be, you know, that we'll have gains like this, you know, like this doctor who you can call him and say, I'm a TI, and he's like, okay, come on in. I need to do a hearing test. They're gonna have to do a hearing test on me before I have the appointment, but he's gonna talk to me, and I can talk about these attacks. I don't have to sit there like my neurologist in Baton Rouge. I had to say, well, you know, I have headaches and stuff like that. And then I was very, you know, nervous about saying, I think people are targeting me with this stuff. And then when I did say that, and I tried to tell him about the Cuban embassy attack, he just, you know, wrote in the thing that I was psychotic. You know, he called me psychotic and schizophrenic. And then I think, you know, I don't think he wrote a truthful report for the DTI, but I still have that DTI, and I'm going to bring it to Dr. Hoffer. So Rick M says, compensation equals forget about it. This world is toast. Concentrate on your eternity with Jesus. Well, I'm going to do that too, Rick. You know, I'm going to do that too. But y'all know my philosophy. I've said it a bunch of times. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So, you know, I'm gonna act as if the sun is coming up tomorrow, and I'm gonna help people to reduce their suffering, and I'm gonna fight this. And then if Jesus comes, then I'll be prepared. You know, but you know, it says that no man knows. I guess no man and or woman or anybody on the earth knows the day and time that Jesus is gonna arrive. So for me, it's like I've gotta prepare to live the rest of my life, right? And, you know, if Jesus comes, that's great. And I'll be ready, and I'll be praying, and we'll all be praying and doing that side of it. But we've also got to, you know, take action against this and try and reduce people's suffering, try and reduce our own suffering and our own family suffering, because we've got a huge chance. The probability of all these things happening and people starting to help us is getting better and better and better as time moves forward, as people start to understand that this technology is being so misused. It's very misused.
Proof, you know, that this is happening. And so I did go. I arrived there, like I said, June 30th, and I went to see him. On the first day, he did an audiology test and hearing test. And then the second day, he sent me for an ears MRI with contrast, and they shot something in my vein that helps them to see the image on the x-ray, on the MRI. And then the third day, I was there 5 hours, and they did a vestibular test, which is the chair where it spins around.
That too. Yep.
You've done that?
I've done all that, but here in Portland, they don't know about it. They just don't know what's going on with my ears. And I'm not.
Well, anyway, yeah. Well, they did.
I wanted to, because Messenger of the Cross said psychopaths and narcissists never back down. But you know how I see it, Messenger of the Cross, like my attackers on the microwave weapons, if their manager was like, "Hey, we're stopping this program, and so we can't torture this guy anymore," I really see them going, "Okay, who cares?" And in leaving the weapons, right? Because I think that these people have clearances and they're working at contractors, so I don't think they care one way or the other. They would torture me for my whole life and not care about it, or murder me and not care about it. But if like their chain of command said, "Hey, we're stopping this program and we're going to have to go off and do something else," I think that they would just be like, "Okay, well, whatever," and they would just forget about it. I think that's kind of how some psychopaths work, especially if they're doing like a mission and they have a chain of command. Now, I think you're right about like psychopaths that are on their own, right? Like they're doing bad stuff independently to people. I think you're very right. But I think with this, it's a little bit different. It's like they have a military mindset. So it's like, okay, well, if the chain of command is telling me torture this person for their whole life and do this and do that, I'll sit here and do that. But if it's not part of the program anymore and they stop it, they'll just go away from it. I don't think they care one way or the other. I think they like murder. I think they like torture, but I think that they're more about whatever the chain of command tells them to do. But I think you're right about like psychopaths and narcissists who are independently taking action against good people. I think they never stop.
Something like patches, these patches on your face and on your forehead and on your neck.
That one too. Yep.
There was a couple other tests. I'm going to get the list of them exactly, but I'm going to do an interview with Derek Robinson on Monday night at 6 o'clock and go over everything. So, but the point is as targets, if we have a way of going to see the one advocate in the world who knows about this, and Dr. Hoffer explained to me when he explained my diagnosis to me that I had lost 50% of my hearing. This is horrible, and it's going down. He said it's probably going to get worse if they keep, if this continues, this direct energy. And he said that I had some abnormalities that my doctors never discovered. They didn't know crap about it. And so he gave me a much better and more thorough diagnosis of the direct energy. And if we have issues, and if you have insurance, please go see him, because he cannot advocate if one of us goes there. He needs numbers, and they've seen more people from out of the country than they have in the country. And
I'm just worried. I hope he doesn't get burnt out from TIs. So many doctors go running after a while, and because TIs attack them, or they have their expectations are too high, or whatever. I hope we can just not burn this bridge. We as a community need to remember these are human beings, and they have their own lives, and we can't have unrealistic.
I think Ella's right there. Like, some people that try and help the TI community, targeted individuals, like, are going through so much pain. Sometimes they kind of pile on, and then people do kind of step away a little bit. I think the good thing about Dr. Hoffer, though, is he understands. Like, he understands that this is torture. He understands that this is doing stuff to the brain. So I think he's pretty much prepared. Like, I mean, he's taking appointments and he's seeing people and helping them. I don't know if he's going to get in trouble for doing this. It seems like he knows what he's doing, right? And I think it is important to get as many targeted individuals to go see him as possible, because then he can see a pattern, right? So, like, say that, I don't know where Jax is from, but say she's from, I don't know, say she's from New York. I'm not sure where she's from. But so Jax goes and sees him from New York. I go and see him from Louisiana. Then another targeted individual from California goes to see him. So then he's seeing this pattern of all these targeted individuals all over the country. And then he can, like, write, research paper. He can write write-ups on, like, okay, there are these people experiencing what people in Cuba had experienced all over this country, right? maybe even put it in that you know, maybe some people out of the country will go see him too. But I think it's crucial. I don't think he's going to get scared away. But I think Ella makes a good point. Whenever we got somebody helping us, try and be as nice as possible, right? You know, so they're like, oh, these people are really nice, and I want to help them. You know, but I think Dr. Hoffer he's a pretty sturdy guy. He knows how much damage his stuff does. He knows, like, he's a neurologist, so neurologists deal with many people with like brain injuries and things that make them act abnormally. So I don't think that's a real danger.
Expectations, and we have to tread very carefully when we have people on our side, because I've seen it over the past few years. People just pull away from this community, and it makes me so sad.
Well, he didn't get that from me, and I don't think...
I know he didn't. You sound very professional. You don't sound like the kind of person who would give him a hard time and ask too much.
No, but if you have insurance, Ella, you know, the thing is they actually want to see more people. And
good. Yeah, I've talked to him before about a speaking engagement, and he asked, well, did you want to come in? And I just waited, you know, because I've just went through all these testings here in Portland.
Okay, and so Ella's talking about her testing. So for anybody who just came into the chat, you know, in the title it says solution for V2k. Jax is going to talk about it right now. But the solution that I was saying is something that Dr. Hoffer offered to her, and he understands how V2k works. And he said that a noise canceling hearing aid would work, because a noise canceling hearing aid puts out a canceling frequency to the inner and the outer ear. So if you're getting V2k from a microwave to the brain, transferred into a sound signal to the inner ear, or if your attackers are hitting bone conducting a sound up to the inner ear, or if they're hitting the ear directly, it seems like the sound canceling hearing aid is going to be, it seems scientifically sound, right? I'm going to try it as soon as possible and let y'all know. I should know pretty quickly because I have, you know, constant V2k, but I wanted to let y'all know she's going to talk about it too, just in case you're just getting into chat.
And they don't know what's going on with my ears. They're really concerned. And they want to do the surgery, but they're a little worried about it. So am I. I'm worried about the surgery too, because they're going to have to put a hole in my skull and reach the ear that way by going in through your skull. And so I'm just postponing it.
Well, go see, you know, at least, did you say you went to Dr. Hoffer?
No, I went to a doctor here in Oregon.
Well, if you are considering and they're telling you those things, go see Dr. Hoffer, because his test, he has knowledge of these weapons, and I
see, that's awesome.
Wanted to let you, yes, he explained them to me. I mean, this is not a person who's ignorant on the subject. Your doctor may not know about.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, but I'm just trying to have him see if he could fix it from, you know, just as a doctor, the damage that's already been done. Because I don't want to have any problems, that's for sure.
Well,
he sounds like the ideal person to go see. He knows what's going on. What a relief.
Well, he did explain, because I thought that the V2k was going into my ear and then I could hear it, because, you know, when they microwave your ears for pleasure, for the perk pleasure, you know, they're just doing that for fun. But they're actually, the noise that they send us is in our skull. And so I told Dr. Hoffer that they were...
So they're...
No, Dr. Hoffer...
It's not from an outside source? I was just trying to...
Okay, Dr. Hoffer, he explained that the sound that I hear in my ears, you know, the V2k. I have V2k. My neighbor also did eye to eye, so they can see through my eyes. And Dr. Hoffer explained to me that the sound goes through the skull, and then after that, we hear it in our ears.
Yeah, so she's talking about microwave hearing. I think that's the main way that I get V2k. And what that is, it's a microwave, and what it does is it expands brain tissue. It actually expands some of your brain tissue. And as the brain tissue, Robert Duncan explains this, as the brain tissue cools, it creates a signal that travels down to your inner ear and then creates that voice that you hear in your inner ear. Now, but I do think V2K is done by some other methods too. I think it's done by bone conduction. I think they could send an external vibration to, like, say, your jaw or something like that, and then that vibration runs up to your inner ear to create that voice sound. Or I think that they can actually just shoot directly into the ear. Like they can do I guess like ultrasound straight to the outer ear so that you hear it. But you could get out of, like, if you moved, you would get out of that beam, right? So for me, and I think a lot of other TIs, it's microwave hearing, where it's like heating up the brain tissue. As the brain tissue cools, it transfers a sound signal. I'm not sure what kind of signal, but it transfers that signal through the brain down to the inner ear. And it's probably more complicated than that. If you guys saw the presentation on Dr. James Giordano, he talks about all the cavitations, blood vessels, and things like that, all these things that are connected to the cochlear that run into the brain, that actually run straight into the brain. So there's mechanisms within the blood vessels, facial blood vessels, your ears and everything that run into the brain. So it has a lot to do with that too, but that's super complicated. It's super, all those mechanisms, like you guys go and watch that presentation with Dr. James Giordano, and he's really explaining how those pathways to the brain work. Like I'm going to show y'all where he says that the sinus cavity is actually a pathway to the brain. And I never knew that. The first time I even thought about that was when he said it in his presentation.
So that told me so much. He understands this weapon. He has studied this weapon. There's, I think it's called neurophone or something, but he does understand what this weapon can do to us. And I have a picture of the Raytheon it's called the Ravenclaw. And I actually have a picture because I caught my stalkers in a hotel, and they had placed it in the room next to me, and there was a gap in the door on the bottom, and I took a picture of it with my iPhone. And I showed it to Dr. Hoffer, and he looked at it, and he said, yeah, they sell those on the dark web in a catalog. And
really?
almost anybody can get these. So he knows about it. And I just was stunned that how he knew about it.
Now, even though I can't get on planes, I'll be miserable.
So it seems like this Ravenclaw that she's talking about, you can get it on the dark web. It's actually a ground weapon that can direct voice to skull. It can create microwave hearing from like next door or around you, and it's called the Ravenclaw. Now with my attacks, I don't think that it's a ground weapon creating my V2k or anything else. I think that I'm getting hit remotely, but there's so many different protocols, so many targeted individuals are getting hit so many different ways. I would think with the Ravenclaw, with the ground weapon, you'd be able to get out of its line of sight, right? So I think that if you're getting V2k, like I have V2k 24 hours a day, when I'm sitting in my condo, when I go in my parking lot, when I go to the supermarket, it's always going. So that's motion compensating remote V2k. My attacker's using an integrated weapon system to either do it through a microwave tower or over the horizon radar or drone or whatever that grid system, whatever they're using in that grid system. But there are actually ground weapons that can create voice to skull too, called the Ravenclaw. So I might do a video on that. I might look it up and see if I can find it.
But hey, I'm going to an ear doctor, so he can help me help my ears clear.
Well, I hope everybody, tune in if you can with
Monday
at 6. And Derek's, really interested in going too. I mean, it's really important for us to start standing up for ourselves and take care of ourselves. And if there is a doctor, and if it is, I know it is far, because I'm in California and I had to fly 7 hours on the way back, and 6 because I had a layover in Houston. Then on the way back, I had a layover in Chicago. But it was worth every minute because of the things that he was able to do. And he also told me that, how to remedy the V2k. And I haven't tried it yet.
What did he say? Please share.
He did say that if we get noise canceling, hearing aids, a noise canceling hearing aid that we can block. I know it doesn't sound possible, but he did say that.
Canceling hearing aids. Hold on. This could be remarkable. Noise canceling hearing aids. This is phenomenal.
Yes, that's why he is truly our advocate. He knows this weapon.
And everybody said he was face.
And see, the thing is I took a picture of that weapon and he recognized it right away.
And I want to tell you guys, because I've been experiencing V2k a long time and like looking for solutions, some that work a little bit right, like they work a certain percentage, but the way that noise canceling, oh my God, my attackers are zapping that word. The way that noise canceling hearing aids work, it seems very scientifically sound, because the noise canceling hearing aid is sending out a canceling frequency for both the outer and the inner ear. So it sounds like, and I'm going to try that immediately. I just don't know. I don't know cheap noise canceling hearing aid versus like one that you can maybe get from going to an ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor. So I'm going to be really researching to find like the best one I can get. And I don't know about cost. I don't know if it's going to be cheap or if it's going to be a couple $100. So, but can you imagine that targeted individuals? Because I've had V2k for I think 8 years straight. It's been 8 years straight without stopping. Could you imagine putting in a noise canceling hearing aid when you go to sleep and not hearing anything, having solitude, having silence? I mean, can you imagine? Even if my attackers were still able to do like the, the synthetic telepathy, the inner voice stuff, or the remote neural manipulation where they're messing with my visual cortex, holy Lord, if I could have a week of just silence, how much your brain could heal, how much I don't want to build it up because, I want to see if it works 100%. It's just very hopeful. So I'm not trying to just, I got to see if it works 100% first. We got to see if it works, but it seems very, very scientifically sound.
The picture is real, and I've tried to tell people that this thing is called the Raven Claw. It is called the Raven Claw, and that is the one that Raytheon makes. So please, everyone, listen to Jerry on Monday night.
Yeah, Messenger of the Cross says, Vulcan, with the V2k, do you recognize it right when you wake up in the morning? Like when I'm half awake, half asleep, I'm having curse words spoken at me, not audible voice, but clearly is cursing me. Yeah, like when I go to sleep, when I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm hearing the V2k, and then I'll go to sleep and I'll have some directed dreaming, but I won't really notice the V2k while I'm sleeping. But right when I wake up, it is going, as if it was going while I was sleeping, and just as I wake up, it's still going. There's never, I think maybe there have been a couple of mornings in the beginning where I would wake up and I wouldn't hear it, and they would start it like a minute after me waking up. There were a couple of times, but now it's just chatterbox where it goes all the time. So there's no breaks in it, At the beginning, there were some breaks because they were putting things in manually to put it in the software, like the chatterbox software, where it makes a conversation, where they take things that they say manually, put it together like it's a conversation so that it's automated all the time. At the beginning, they were just manually saying stuff, so I would get breaks, like, the first 2 years. But then after that is just 24 hours a day. Yeah, Kizzy Cricket says silence is golden. seems once they figured out what you were doing, they could easily send a focus beam to harm the hearing aid circuit board. Maybe not, because like I play Dave Case's CD on my computer, and they aren't able to skip it or anything like that. So it may, yeah, they may be able to heat it up, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see how they attack it, because my attackers can attack my CD player if I'm using it. Batteries, like all my batteries are dead. You know, that I used for Dave Case's CD, for the CD player, and then my attackers will hit my electronic cigarette. I'm sure they'll try. I'm sure they'll try and destroy those hearing aids. But maybe if they're maybe if it's not too expensive, they would last a while. Our attackers would maybe attack them, and then, you know, we could just buy another set or something like that. We'll see. I'm gonna really try it out. It just seems like such a, gosh, if that could even give us 95% of buffering the V2k, it would be a dream. Like, it would be a dream, because that, I mean, that becomes the worst thing, to just psychic driving all the time, where you have no peace and solitude. Like the stuff that my attackers do to me, it makes it so I'm like so tired, my brain's tired, but also my brain can't stop. Like I remember, like before the targeting, where, you know, I could sit there and I could meditate or pray and not have my brain just stop and not think anything. And like now, from all this torture in the V2k, my brain never stops. My brain never stops thinking. Even like, it's either my attackers injecting stuff and doing V2k, or my own mind has been psychically driven by the V2k so much that I can't stop thinking. And it's exhausting. It becomes so just beyond exhausting. I know a lot of you understand that.
Sure. Can I ask you, so is this evidence admissible in court? I'd imagine so.
Well, that's
Drunken Ninja says, CD player, get with the times, brother. That's funny, dude. Yeah. I don't use the CD player anymore, because my attackers attacked it so much. So I use my computer, but it seems like that's the best way to play Dave Case CD, just to get a cheap CD player. So if your attackers do break it, you know, no big deal. You can just buy another one.
Want to get, you know, I had a lawyer, but he's more of a corporate guy, right? And he doesn't know that all about my test yet from Dr. Hoffer, and I don't feel comfortable with this other lawyer. You know, the people who are skeptical don't make good defenses, you know, good lawyers. You know, you've got to find someone who believes in you, like possibly another targeted individual lawyer. But, you know I could be building my case because of all this. I have police records of trouble with this man and threats, and it's just, you know, it's a personal vendetta, a personal issue.
But I'm just so excited about what you told me. Not only do I just adore Dr. Hoffer, the fact that he was willing to offer something that may work. Have you tried it yet?
I haven't had a chance because I've not been back.
Okay, so she hasn't tried it yet.
This could help.
I just got back.
Tens of thousands of people may be able to. So he feels confident up with the V2k.
He told me to get a hearing aid with a noise canceling hearing aid, and it would eliminate the noise that they're doing to my ears.
Oh my gosh, this is so awesome.
So I don't know yet. So I mean, I just didn't believe it, to be honest with you. You know.
And that's the thing. Like she can't imagine how that would be able to stop it. But like my research into this and things that I've experimented with, I know how hearing aids work, and I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I have no idea. I think I actually did. I think like at the beginning I was like, oh man, I should get a hearing aid. I wonder if that would work, like offhandedly, but I never did. But I can really imagine that, because it's just a sound signal going to either the outer ear or the inner ear. It's traveling down from your brain to your inner ear, and it's just a sound signal, you know. So if you got a device that puts out a canceling frequency, and you can actually turn that hearing aid up, right? So maybe you know, I say I get Oh, my attackers keep making me forget it. The sound canceling hearing aid. Say I get that, I put it on a certain level, and my attackers just turn the intensity of the V2K up. I can turn the intensity of the sound canceling hearing aid up. So this is going to be awesome. I'm gonna try it and let y'all know as soon as possible. I guess even if I have to go, I might go to an ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor in Baton Rouge before October the 9th and see if that would work.
The more I am examining this noise that they play and stuff, I think it might work.
Yeah.
Because
Great
it's not
news.
real, you know, it's not coming from.
One of the worst tortures there is.
Tell me
It is.
about that.
Yeah.
Can we get Dr. Hoffer's information? Like, is he in is he in Miami? What city is he in?
Well, I have his information if you want to text me, because I have him. He might do a speaking engagement for us, so I have his.
Wow.
Yeah.
He said that he would do a speaking engagement for you?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you go.
I hope it works out. I hope it comes.
And so, you know, this is also something I'm thinking about, guys, and I'm not sure about it. But the high pitched sound, what the tinnitus like sound that we get is the interaction of non-ionizing microwave radiation with our brain. So it's the same concept as microwave hearing. The same concept as microwave hearing with the high pitched sound. I think it's a little bit different. I think the mechanism of how it works is different, and I'm not sure how. But, you know, I'm going to see, because I get the high pitch ringing sound, the tinnitus like sound, and I get the V2K. Now, when I listen to Dave Case's CD, the V2K gets louder sometimes because it's helping the mechanism of microwave hearing, the sound traveling from my brain to my inner ear. But my attackers start doing a noise induction V2K. Like, you know how your attackers can, like if there's running water or something like that, they can, it's basically affecting your hearing. It's not actually pushing sound through that noise, but it's affecting the way that you hear that noise. In placing sound or voices in the stuff, when you hear that stuff, it's mixing it in your hearing. It's not actually doing it through the sound that's occurring. But I'm thinking that, I guess, bottom line, you know, I'm thinking that the noise canceling hearing aid could help with the high pitched ringing sound, and that would be fantastic. When I listen to Dave Case's CD, it does the V2K gets louder because they're using voice induction. But then when I'm not listening to the CD, the V2K and the high pitched tinnitus sound have decreased overall, right? So it's kind of disconnecting that loop, that feedback loop of signal to the brain, then to the inner ear. Dave Case's CD, like it interferes with that. So I'm thinking that the noise canceling hearing aid could actually get rid of that high pitched ringing sound. I'm just gonna hope that it's 100%, and I'm gonna try it, and then I'll let y'all know, you know. And some of y'all should try it too, you know. Well, I'll let y'all know how expensive it is. You know, I'll let y'all know the kind that I'm getting and how expensive it is.
Tear it off. You know, that's my.
No, he won't. He's a brave guy. He knows what's going on. And I saw his assistant, Dr. Lafitte, and she did the vestibular, and she did some of the other testing, and she was very, very interested in the gang stalking part of our torture. And she asked many questions, documented those questions and my answers, because I told her that this is a total psychological torture test. And I have been, you know, just like that other poor lady that was talking, I listened to her. I've been raped and I've been sodomized.
Yeah, Jean-Marie Bizot says, I believe it's electromagnetic spectrum of many different applications. Yeah, Jean-Marie, that's what I have researched too. You know, these are integrated weapon systems. So like the remote neural monitoring and remote neural manipulation would be a certain stream of energy, and maybe the V2K is mixed into that, but they would be different frequency beams. So these integrated weapon systems use all these different things, right? Because they can hit us with an external microwave hit, and then they've got like maybe a, well, if you've got implants, if you got non-consensual implants, or even the smart dust, then they can send basically an EMF broadcast. That's one part of it, sending basically an EMF broadcast to the to those implants or smart dust, and then they can do electromagnetic fields around the head with a bidirectional stream of energy going through. So there's a lot of different things they can do with these integrated weapon systems. And they've got a lot of ways. They've got ground weapons, over-the-horizon radar. Y'all have heard me say it a bunch of times, drones, microwave towers. I'm just not sure how they mix and match it, right? And I'm not sure if there's a different protocol. One targeted individual might be getting, ground weapons and drones, hitting them with everything because that's what the protocol calls for. That's what the contractor's using. But another targeted individual could be getting, ground radar, over the horizon radar, and a microwave tower, right? So I'm just not sure how it all mixes and matches there. But I agree with you.
I have been molested, just over the breast and my head, and just mocking.
Oh wow. Okay, so Kizzy Cricket says noise cancel hearing aids go all the way from 200 to 1,000. If you have Medicaid, you should qualify, but you'll have to fake your sound test and pretend you hear less than you actually do. Oh man, because like Dr. Hoffer is going to give me a hearing test before I have the appointment. So I wonder if you can get some sound canceling hearing aids without even going to a doctor. I'm going to check into it, guys. I'll check into it. I'm gonna do some research on that.
If I say something to my husband, they start playing V2k. If I talk to somebody, they play V2k. Anything to mock me and make me feel like I don't matter. That's the point, is to make you feel like shit.
Who does he think is doing this? I'm just curious. Does he have an opinion, or he stays away from pointing fingers? Most people.
Dr. Hoffer?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't go into that, but he had his other doctors asking me all those questions. The other person that did the testing was, documenting everything.
Ooh, $200 online.
I told him that it was my neighbor, and he wasn't surprised because he knows that.
Hey, iFlack, how you doing, man?
And he knows it has a geographical limit, so you can't be in Kansas and use the Ravenclaw on someone in California. You have to be close by. And that's why I call.
Okay, so it's a close proximity thing. This is not a
satellite.
Okay.
It's not a satellite. And not only that, it's when I took the picture, I was in a hotel. And then I got a picture of a Navy guy. He was harassing me with the same thing. And I see at the time, I did not know that it was called the Ravenclaw. On both times that I caught
I've never even
the Ravenclaw.
And I've heard a lot of people listen to a lot.
Yeah, me too, iFlack. I'm doing as good as I can.
It's the website, Raytheon.com. If you go to the bottom and click electronic weapons, they describe 4 weapons on that site. And Ravenclaw is one of the weapons they use. And I caught this guy, the Navy guy, with it in his car on the passenger seat, and he was microwaving my legs. And I pulled up behind him, and he didn't know it, and he had his phone in his hand, and he had it pixelated.
Okay, guys, that's basically just what I wanted y'all to listen to. So Kizzy Cricket says you're free to buy them without a sound test. It's just whether or not you want insurance to pay. Insurance wants proof. The retailers, I don't care what you do with them. Yeah, and Costco sells them. Yes, that's probably what I'm going to do before I go see Dr. Hoffer. I'm going to try and get, maybe my mom will help me out. I just have no money. I'll figure it out somehow. I'll figure it out. S. Roble says, Badger Report says, Ravenclaw reminds me of Harry Potter and witchcraft. It really does. It's so true. S. Roble says, I've seen some on Amazon So maybe you can get some without a prescription, but not sure how effective those ones are. Yeah, I'm thinking the more expensive ones might have, you might be able to adjust them more than the cheaper ones. The cheaper ones may just have one canceling frequency. But I'm going to look through it though. Messenger of the Cross says, Kyle, thank you, dude. From the bottom of my heart, it's not courage for me, but survival. Also, we cannot let this exist in our society. Full disclosure of people involved besides the obvious. Yeah. Tanya says, Kyle, we all have no money. Yeah, we're all poor. So, okay, guys, I do want to just show y'all one more thing, and then I think I'm going to close it out. But I thought that news would be very hopeful, and then I'm going to let y'all know. I did have to schedule the appointment very far out. That kind of stinks, but you know, he is like, they know about targeted individuals. Like, they'll schedule an appointment. And here's just go to Google if you do want to check him out. You know, just go to Google, put in Dr. Michael Hoffer Miami, or put Dr. Hoffer Miami, and you'll come up to the University of Miami Health System. And so I just went to that and just called that number to make the appointment. But I'm gonna let y'all know. But just go there. If you guys want to take the number down, I'll leave it up for a second. It's 305-243-3564. Here, I'll put it in the chat real quick. 305-243-3564. Okay, I did want to just show y'all something really quick, and I showed it in the presentation the other day for Dr. James Giordano, but I don't know if I stopped the video when he said it, and I kind of wanted to just show him because I never knew that that your sinuses were a pathway to the brain, and I have intense pain on my left side, like even before I started getting the high-pitched sound and the very obvious, like it was like they wanted me to know I was being overtly tortured. I had horrible pain on the left side of my body, like in my shoulder, in my jaw, and in my cheek. Sometimes I will just be sitting there and I'll have pain, like right now when I'm making this video, the muscle from my cheek going up around my eye is like pulsing. It's like the muscle is really weak, and I didn't understand, but I went to the ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor in Texas many years ago, and it's before I knew about all this. And they said there's something in your sinus cavity. There was like a weird little, not a dot, but like something on the X-ray that shouldn't have been there. Because I was like, you know, I wanted to check on my jaw because I had so much pain in my jaw, and I wasn't even thinking about this, but I think back on it. And I don't even remember the ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor I went to. But I'm not saying that everybody has non-consensual implants in their sinus cavity. But with me, I had a bunch of colonoscopies and things like that where they'd put me out to have the colonoscopy. And I would imagine that, you know, putting a non-consensual implant in your sinus cavity would be very easy because they don't have to cut anything open. They just put it down you know, they probably have a device to put it down the nose into the sinus cavity. And so that's one place that I want to get imaged. I want to get my whole, like from my cheek to my jaw, to those teeth on the side, to my shoulder. I need to find a doctor who will do imaging for that, so that if I do, and then I got to find a doctor who will take them out, which I'm hoping that Dr. Hoffer will help me with. I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that he understands about non-consensual implantation, and not just that we're being hit with this stuff. But I do think there are targeted individuals who don't have non-consensual implants. They do have this. They have breathed in the smart dust and nanotechnology that then passes through the blood-brain barrier. But I wanted y'all to hear him actually saying it.
Phantom or in some other type of situation that would then model what these effects would be on the mammalian ear and on the mammalian brain. Of course, for that, our next speaker, Dr. Balaban, will discuss some of the work that he's done to empirically demonstrate what these findings not only are, but what they could be based upon not only the type of image we see here, but the type of image that we would then see if we were to increase the frequency or change some of the electromagnetic pulsing. Next slide, please. So, based upon that, what's the take-home messages I have for you? Like anything else, let's go through a process of...
So this is where he's going through, you know, the Cuban embassy attacks, and he's going through all the things that it could have been. Drugs alone, unlikely. Ultrasonics, very possible, probable. EM pulsing, very possible, probable. And then a combination, he's saying very possible with that.
Elimination. We have to go about this somewhat deductively. We have a set of individuals who've suffered these particular constellation of signs and symptoms, and we recognize that from that, these are the things we're seeing. What types of changes could we be seeing in the peripheral and central organs, neurosensory organs, and in fact the brain that might be indicative of this, and what could do it? Is it possible that drugs alone could have done that? Well, early on in our discussion, we ruled that out. Is it possible that ultrasonics could do this? Yes, this is very likely and highly probable. Is it possible that electromagnetic pulsing, microwave pulsing, some way could do that? Very possible, highly probable. Is it also possible there be some combinatory approach, beta test, if you will, to see if we give drug first at a low dose or ultrasonics at a low dose coupled with some type of electromagnetic pulse, microwave dosing, in some combinatory form, could these be worked? Quite possible with very positive explanatory value.
Now, see, that's what I think. He's explaining, I think, what's happening to a lot of targeted individuals that's happening to us. There's a combination of toxins that are put into our environment that everybody's getting in them, but also some specialized for us. And then it's mixing with the electronic torture, with EM pulsing, with microwaves and things like that.
In other words, if someone put a gun in my ear and said, which one do you think is going to produce this constellation of effects that we saw in those individuals who are most affected, not only in Cuba, but more recently in China, I would tend to think that what you're probably finding is this last one. Whether or not drugs or some other form of pharmacotoxicologic agent we use, I think remains dubious. But certainly there are devices that are widely available that we also know have been dedicated activities in the neuroweapon space by a variety of nation states that would be capable of doing just this type of thing. The inner ear provides a locus forum for this to then be conducted in such a way to manifest these effects, but it's not the inner ear alone. It could occur through the sinuses, both the ethmoid and sphenoid sinuses.
See that? Okay, yeah, so he says that it could occur through the sinuses. So what we got to understand, and this, like, I don't know everything about this, but what I'm learning is that, you know, you don't have to have a non-consensual implant right in your ear for them to use an implant to get sound to that ear, right? You could have an implant in your shoulder or your jaw or your nasal cavity that actually goes to that through those nerves, right, is a pathway to the brain. So they could send a signal like an EMF broadcast to a non-consensual implant that you have, like say in your jaw or your nasal cavity, and then that would travel along a bundle of nerves to your brain or to the inner ear. So that's what we kind of have to understand. And also, when I went to my dentist, I went to a dentist like very, like I knew I was being targeted, and I knew I was in a targeting program when I went to my, the last time I went to my dentist, who gave me, you know, porcelain caps on my teeth and stuff like that. It was probably 2012. So it was a long time ago. And the dental assistant, like after they were done, the dental assistant looked at me when they weren't done all the way, but they were like halfway done doing my teeth. She looked at me and she goes, "Kyle's wired in a different way." And she like opened her eyes really wide, and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't, but like I look back at it now and I'm like, she was trying to tell me something. Very weird. So I've been like, what I've been doing is asking the question, well, do I have an implant in my jaw, or do I have an implant in my shoulder, or do I have an implant in some of those teeth on the left side? But I may be thinking about it wrong, right? I think that you know, you may get an initial implant, and this is just for some of us. I don't think all of us get body area networks, but I just wanted to let y'all know, I think that I may have a body area network like on the left side, like in my jaw and my nasal pass and my sinus cavity and my shoulder. So it would be a little body area network all on that left side, intensifying the targeting. So, and I'm not quite sure about that. I need more proof. I need imaging. I need a doctor, and that's very tough, right? It's very tough getting a doctor who understands this. And even if they did do imaging, you know, that, you know, doctors are scared to take this stuff out, right? Because it's governmental. You know, it's a governmental program. They can get in trouble. But I wanted to mention that because we do have to start thinking about that. If you've had a lot of dental work or a lot of surgeries or a lot of colonoscopies or anything like that, you got to start kind of trying to remember. Well, I know we wouldn't know, but there would be the question of, did those doctors put non-consensual implants in us? It seems like I got non-consensual implanted when I was very young, but then like when I would have dental work or I'd have surgeries or anything like that, the doctors and the dentists would act very strange. And I think that's because whenever anybody does dental work or you have to be put out for a surgery or something like that, and you do have non-consensual implants, I think that those doctors and dentists have to be told. I think that somebody, and I'm not sure who, but somebody from this program contacts them to let them know, hey, you know, this person has non-consensual implants. Because my surgeon who cut my stomach open, I got a foot of colon taken out, everything went great. And my family was there and there was nothing weird going on. But whenever he would come into the room, he would look at me like, who the hell is this guy? Like he's a very smart, nice guy, you know, but he had this weird kind of like looking at me like, what the hell is going on here? And I think because I had to be put under by anesthetics, is that how you say that? I had to be put under to have that surgery. I think whoever was running this program on me, and this was way back in 2008, I think they actually have to contact anybody who's going to do something like that to you, even if those doctors or dentists are not putting non-consensual implants in you. I think they have to contact them and let them know, because they might, like, say my dentist was messing around with my teeth and found one of those implants or something like that, or the surgeon, you know, I don't know. I think there's like a risk with it or something like that. So they have to let them know, which is kind of weird because this is all about murdering and torturing us. But I do think they play by these certain rules anyway. It doesn't really make sense because it seems like there's no rules. You know, they're killing us, they're hurting our family and everything like that. But I do think sometimes they do contact, if you're going to have a surgery or something, they tell them, hey, this person's in this program and they have a non-consensual implant in them, so you got to take extra precaution or whatever. Just a thought, you know, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I kind of did just want to, you know, run it by you guys and see if y'all have ever had anything similar to that. You had some doctors who maybe like there was no reason for them to act weird, but they acted very weird, almost as if like they didn't know what was going on. You know, not a good, interesting. But I just wanted to kind of run it by y'all and see if y'all had maybe had that experience.
It could go through the hard palate of the mouth. Any one of the vulnerable amplifying spaces of the head could do it. And certainly what becomes important is how such a weapon could then be focused and utilized in those ways to be able to create this effect. Might it be, once again, that this was something that was serendipitous, stochastic, that this was some type of vermin protecting agent or device that was simply in those rooms, which these individuals were then suspect?
No.
Perhaps.
But
not likely? Not very.
Not very.
The reason for that would be that many others would have these signs and symptoms. For one. Number two, there would be some engineering artifact that would then be attributable. Here's the device, this is what it was being used for, and there would be an attribution or custodial record for that. Absent that, once again, by virtue of implication, this is intentional, this is directed, this seems to be a beta test of some type of a viable neuroweapon that utilizes one or more of these modalities for its effect. Next slide, please.
Okay, I just wanted to show you all that, where he says that the sinuses are a pathway to the brain. I think that's pretty much it. I'll read some of y'all's comments, see if y'all have some last comments or anything. So Messenger of the Cross says, man, Vulcan, you're describing the same reactions I get. Yeah, I do think that when you get initial implants, like if you have another surgery or dental work, I think that they are contacted. Like even if they're not going to put more implants in you, I think that they let them know, right? That you know that you are implanted. Like, because if I had implants in my sinus and in my jaw or something like that, and then I go get a bunch of dental work, they have to contact that dentist and say, hey, you're working on his teeth. We got to let you know he's got something, you know, in his sinus and here, so don't mess with it, right? So, I mean, and I'm not sure about that. Like this stuff, we're not told about it, right? We're not told what kind of non-consensual implants are put into us, and we're not told about this stuff. But we have these weird situations where we've got to ask questions about what the hell's going on. So Badger Report said, okay, PA says they're destroying my bones. Yeah, it feels like they hurt my bones too. PA, I'd really try Dave Case's CD and try some grounding on your left leg. Yeah, unless it's external hits, which, you know, we're going to have to find some better stuff for passive shielding. So Badger Report says, this stuff has been going on since the 1950s. MK Ultra was just the tip of the iceberg. I agree. Yeah, Project Moonstruck was in 1952, where they were putting non-consensual implants in people and then sending microwave signals. It seems like in 1970 was when they had started to get a lot better at doing it without implantation and doing microwave hearing. It seems like 1970 on was when that kind of stuff. But before that, they were putting implants in people and sending signals to those implants. So iFlax says, oops, okay. Bay Otter says, mine at 5 years old, priest takes me under the church. Messenger of the Cross says, they gave my dad cancer, then mock me daily over it by way of physical stalkers. Yeah. Yeah, we're making headway, guys. We gotta put our focus on what we can do about stopping this program. Just try and neutralize what your attackers are doing. It's so hard because they're murdering my ass. iFlax says I had jaw lockup, got hit by my bro, then it unlocked. Oh, well, at least you got hit and that got unlocked. I got hit in the jaw before I went to college, and that's what I thought all my jaw pain was from, because it happened around then. But if I was in this program, they do things around what happens to you. So like if you get hit in the face or something and it doesn't do anything in your jaw, they may have amped up signals in an implant, right? So it all gets mixed in. So it can be denied. So they can have plausible deniability. Oh, well, somebody got hit right here and that's what's causing the pain. And that's what I think, you know, because I had Crohn's disease when I was really young. So Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disorder where you have a lot of pain. So they're like, oh, well, this is the perfect profile, right? We need to put a non-consensual implant in him because then we can send microwave signals. He's going to have an autoimmune disorder that's going to be giving him pain, and we can induce pain, and he'll just attribute it to the autoimmune disorder. So they want this stuff to mix in with natural things that are going on with you. Kizzy Cricket says, Kyle's right. It would be a liability to let them freely work on you, because if they found something, they would, of course, inform you. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Just give doctor an NDA and scare him a bit. Yeah. Because if like the doctor was doing a surgery on me and they had put a non-consensual implant like in my colon, and the guy didn't know, he would tell me. He'd be like, you had this in your colon. But they tell him so that he's not going to do that. You know, I don't, because that surgery was in 2008, and I think I had already been non-consensually implanted. So I don't think he was going to do it to me, but they told him something, because he was looking at me like I had 3 heads, and the surgery went perfect, and I was a normal guy, and just with my family and everything was fine. And he'd come into the room and he'd be like looking at me almost as if, what did this guy do? Why is this guy, you know, what's going on with this guy? So I don't know exactly what was going on, but it was very weird. Zap World says, how many perps does it take to screw in a light bulb? They probably just break the light bulb and murder somebody with it. because they're animals. Okay, Scott Rogers says, I wonder, do you think this tech evaporates water at a faster rate? It's microwaves. So I guess if they did I think it evaporates water in our body. I think it dries us out because we're getting hit with microwaves. If they're hitting the skull with microwaves, or you've got an implant that's pulsing electromagnetic frequencies, it's going to make you dehydrated a lot quicker. That's why we've got to drink a lot of water. So I guess it just depends on how they're using it. But yeah, I would think it evaporates water. Erica Naria says, I'm going to get a checkup soon. I'll be on the lookout. But I did have one flaky female doctor look at me in a very weird way as she inspected me. This was a very long time ago, too. Yeah. Hey, Pine Dot, how you doing? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're getting through this stuff. Badger Report says, I think I might have implants where they did a root canal a year or so ago, and now there's an infection in there. I need work done, but I don't know who to trust. Yeah, that's the thing. I need some work done on my teeth, but, you know, I went to that dentist. I don't think that she put any non-consensual implants in me, but I'm just not, there's so much money in it. I think that doctors, they put non-consensual implants in for governmental programs. They don't know that people are going to be tortured. Some of them don't know, but I think it's a ton of money. I think they get a lot of money out of that. Like when I think Oshner gave me my first non-consensual implants, and I'm sure they raked in the cash and didn't care. They didn't care about my future. They didn't care what was going to happen to me, you know. Bay Otter says, thank you, Brock. They're going to kill me, I'm pretty sure, for following Jesus. Well, you know, just pray to Jesus. My attackers, it just seems like, to me, it really, after being attacked for so long, it seems like they are in a chain of command where they're doing a protocol. And when I do stuff that's good, like make these videos, they will amp up the targeting because it's part of a protocol. It's part of that hyper game theory, right? So whatever you think, if you're like, man, I love Jesus, and that's why these people are killing me, they're going to try and basically go with that protocol. It's a psyop, so they've got to go with what you're thinking is happening. They're going to push it that way of whatever you're thinking. I'm sure they do hate us, for being Christians. But we got to remember, it's not just Christians being targeted. It's Christians, atheists, Buddhists, every religion is being targeted, Yeah, right. And my cheek right here, like the muscling, it's always been bad, but I never thought I might have a non-consensual implant in my cheek. I still don't know. I have to get hard, concrete evidence, because in today's society, it's like, oh, I've got non-consensual implants, and people are like, oh, well, you're insane, because we've learned and we've been socially conditioned to believe that anybody that thinks they have implants in their body that didn't agree to those implants, well, they're crazy, because that's been driven and conditioned into our society specifically so they can get away with this stuff. Because what was the psychiatrist, the DSM, the first DSM was like in 1952. Also in 1952, Project Moonstruck, when the CIA started putting implants in people and sending frequencies to it in the same year. And those people in the American Psychologists Association, I think that's what it's called, they had clearances. They had military clearances when they wrote the DSM. So it all happened at the same time, and they made sure to write in these things that, maybe people with schizophrenia experience that, like they think they're being followed and stuff. Maybe that does happen, but I tell you what, it's really mixed in with people who are really experiencing gang stalking and being targeted by, I guess you'd call it governmental agencies. It's really private contractors under the DOD. So it's a little bit separated from the government, but pretty much if the government's giving them money, the DOD is giving them contracts, then they are an American governmental agency. They have that responsibility that an American governmental agency should have. Kizzy Cricket says, does anyone have a history of MK Ultra in their family? Wondering if a high percentage of TI have this in their family and they continue to experiment on same family, different members. you know, I don't have, I don't know about my dad. My dad has really bad teeth, and after my 33rd birthday, they almost murdered him. So I'm wondering if he was targeted before even I was targeted. I question what happened first. But no, I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know anybody else in chat that has a family member. And now both my mom and my dad are being targeted, but I'm not sure if maybe my dad got targeted first because he invested in a lot of tech companies. Like he invested in WorldCom, and then they had to bring WorldCom to court because WorldCom lied to all the investors. So WorldCom is this big telecommunications company. And I'm thinking that people in WorldCom, and that was like way before, I think it was even before I had my surgery or before I had my PICC line at Ochsner. So my dad may have actually pissed off the wrong people. I'm not sure. I don't know. You know, I don't know. You know, it's hard to know when this stuff started. Messenger of the Cross says, this is the goal. No touch torture that can be blamed on the common and ordinary occurrences. Probable deniability. Yeah, I agree completely. I agree completely. So Badger Report says, I don't know about that, but my dad and my uncle were electronic warfare technicians in the Navy at Kizzy Cricket. Yeah, my grandfather on my mother's side was a naval engineer. Like he went in the not the Philippines, no, not the Philippines, in Japan, like Okinawa, and they would go in, like the troopers would go in and fight the people on the island, and then my grandfather would go in after and like build the barracks and build all the stuff and, you know, do that for the Navy. Okay, so Badger Report says you guys got to check out the mini film on at Zap World channel. He made it himself. Okay, I need to check that out. So everybody go to Zap World and check out his videos. And hey, Autumn. Hey, I was just telling everybody about a solution for V2k, noise canceling, noise canceling hearing aids. So I'm going to be trying that, and I think a lot of people should try it. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and close out the live stream. But thank you all for coming, and I'll let y'all know. I'll let y'all know when I get the noise canceling hearing aid. If one of y'all tries one, is able to get one, and it does really work, please let me know. And then this Dr. Hoffer, you know, October 9th, I'll let y'all know what he says. I'm gonna try. Maybe you guys could email me things that you think I should ask him. You know, I'm gonna try and write down as many things. I don't think I'll have a lot of time with him, but some very crucial things that I'm gonna ask him, so I can take that appointment and whatever he says, and then maybe maybe he knows some other doctors. Maybe he knows doctors in other areas that are also taking patients. Then we can get that information out, and more targeted individuals can go to other doctors who know about it. That would be awesome. All right, guys, I love y'all, and y'all have a good night. Yeah, Autumn says 47 watching, 20 likes. Don't forget to thumbs up. Yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. Please share this. I'm going to share it on Facebook and share it around. And share Ella's Ella's conference call talking to Jax too, guys. That's really important. Oh, that'd be great. Diana Pythia says it would be neat if he would let you do a short interview for YouTube. Yeah, I'm gonna bring my phone, and I'll probably like live stream as I'm going up there. I don't know. I kind of double, because I want to be able to ask him questions and really focus on giving him the information and stuff like that. I feel like it would maybe change the parameters of our conversation. But maybe I could have the appointment and then just say, hey, can I do a quick interview where you give a message? Can you just give a message to all targeted individuals out there? I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to ask him about that, Diana. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to close it out. I love all you guys. Just try and stay as strong as possible. I know this stuff is horrifying and hellish, but the TI Day rally, we got that to look forward to. And then this doctor, you can call in and say, I'm a targeted individual and I need to see a neurologist. And they're like, oh, you're a targeted individual? Okay. Because I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but I was like, yeah, and I'm getting hit like the Cuban embassy workers. And she was like, oh, microwave torture, you're a targeted individual? Okay, let me make you an appointment. So it seems like a lot of targeted individuals have already gone in to see him. I don't know why I didn't hear about it, but I'm glad I did. All right. I love you guys. Y'all take care. And I'll see y'all on the next one. I am doing pretty bad with the torture, but I'm going to see if I can do something, to get my energy up and my brain working. Does anybody have like some brain medicine that you can just take to fix your brain, to fix the neurons working in your brain? Because I could use that. Scott Rogers says, okay, I'll catch you there. No sleeping here. Melatonin, try melatonin. I'm not a doctor, so I can't prescribe lorazepam or tell you should take lorazepam, but lorazepam, like 0.5 milligrams a day, can really help sleep. Red vein kratom can also help you get some sleep. It can make you pretty drowsy. Okay, iFlax says, I listen to this at night. YouTube, targeted individuals frequency disruptor version 3.0, stop electronic harassment. Okay, targeted individuals frequency disruptor version 3.0, stop electronic harassment. All right, and Autumn says, Kyle, thank you very much. Love you. God bless you all. I love you too, Autumn. Love you so much. I love you guys. And thanks moderators. And Charles, I know you're doing bad too. I think this noise canceling hearing aid could help with a lot of other stuff, because it seems like there's a cycle in our vestibular system, and it comes from stimulating, eyes, the ears, and everything like that. It seems like this could really cut into it, if it's sending out a cancellation frequency. But stay strong, man. Yeah, Autumn says melatonin. Yes, Kyle. Yeah. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Just stay as safe as possible. Stay as strong as possible. Really pray. I kind of tuned into the last part of the Badger Report tonight. He did a live stream. Prayer is really important. And just staying. I'm going to make some videos about positive things we can think of to raise our frequencies. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that stuff's bull. And we need some practical solutions, but I believe we need practical solutions. But you also got to keep your frequency up. You got to have some hope and something that makes you happy, something that can take your mind off of things to raise your frequencies. And this stuff does have less of an effect. All right, guys, I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one.